Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Herron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And we're still working through Inktober Tangles. It's day 19, and we have Mirth. Um, Mirth is a fragment that became a tangle, actually. So we're going to take a look at that. If you would like to see the step out, you can link to that through your handout. So day 19, Mirth, um, you would click on that and it takes you to the step out. And this is a great time to thank Stephanie Jennifer for putting this all together for us. So Mirth is a really fun fragment tangle that pairs really well with Pangea. So we're going to start off with the Pangea. I am working on a Renaissance tile today. I just felt like maybe we should do something a little bit differently, but you can go ahead and follow along on a white tile and use the black pen, number 2 pencil and the tortillon. I have those on standby. I am actually with the Renaissance tile. I'm going to use a brown ink, and I have the Sanguine pastel chalk from Generals, and I have a tortillon just for that pastel chalk. All right, so let's move all that to the side. And I am going to start out with the Pangea. So, and I have my brown pen. Pangea is like making little continents. You know how the supercontinent eons ago, the theory that that broke apart, and then we have all the continents that we have today, they drifted apart. So we are going to draw little continents, and they can be any shaped. So they're not a circle. They're just you kind of randomly put them in with a lot of different curves. So you put your first one in. You can have more bumps or than I do. And then the trick to this one is when you put in your next continent, you're going to aura along the first one, as so. Then you're going to branch off to form a different shape. We're just going to rotate around. Making different shapes as we go. This one maybe is going to be a little smaller. So all of these shapes are going to look a little bit different. Yours could be smaller than mine. But because this is like a demo, I am doing, let's see, how do I want to do this one? I am making these a little bit bigger than I normally would. So we're just filling these in the aura, doing an aura along several of these shapes. Out. So kind of filling my tile with these with the Pangea. You never quite know what you're going to get. And that's the fun of this one for sure. And I can put one more in this corner here. Like that. So I've got a bunch of very different shapes, and from there we're just going to fill in the Pangea. This is formed like a reticula, and we're going to fill in with the Mirth, in this case as a fragment, but it can be its own standalone tangle as well. I'm going to just start in the middle here. And the way I like to do it is kind of rotate around, and I'm going to pick a top for this Pangea here. And I like to have kind of a bump at the top, like a very pronounced bump. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in a curve, but more like a C, like that. And then I'm going to draw a line from the bottom of that curve up to that bump. And then I'm going to add a little bit of love there. And I'm going to do the same on this side. And then you could add a couple more. And I'm using very light pressure with my pen. So I have those in now. And then from here, I'm going to go from this top of the C curve out to the side. And again, adding a little bit of love on the end. And this side, this one's kind of short. So then we just keep going around our little C shape here, but following that initial curve. Sometimes I like to break up the line. Gives it a really nice kind of effect there. If you don't like that, you can just use the solid lines. And then I'm going to switch over to this side. And start coming down on this side too. So you can have a mix of solid lines and broken lines. And fill those in. Yours might be closer together. I could put one more in there. Or they might be a little further apart. And then we have this space up here, and we just go up from our original and then over. Like that. Now we have the option here of inking this in. I could ink it in the brown, but I am actually going to use my black, which I have on standby. So that's kind of a style preference. All right, I have one done. Now I am going to rotate around and let's see. We could go with, it's just a matter of which one you want to work with. I'm going to jump on out to this one here. And I am going to put in that C shape. For this one, because we've got some space out here, actually, I'm going to come out to the edge of that, but I am actually going to take it out of the Pangea. And I'm going to add a little width to it. So that's totally fine to do. You can go out of the original shape. All right. And then the rest is the same. So starting at the top of that C shape, sending it an arm out, and adding a little love there, and doing the same on the other side. From there, we just keep going. I'm going to switch to the other side now. That. And then we're finishing by traveling up. Like that. And we can move on. So all of our Mirth are going to be facing in very different directions. So it's just a matter of moving around your tile and filling them in. And I kind of just pick that randomly. Um, there's no right or wrong. I'll go in with the black pen later and fill in all these spots. I just wanted to show you with the first one, in case you're branching out and working on your own. So this could be filled in with the brown, but I'm going to go in with the black. All right, I think I'll move on to this one here. Um, it's just kind of a random effort process for me. And these we kind of made straight, kind of like grass. But this one, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of a, put the emphasis on the end. Just to demonstrate that you can do different things there. And we can branch off of that one. So just giving you some options and you can decide what you would like to do. All right. So these always come straight off. Pretty straight off, a little bit of a curve. I definitely like to have some of the broken ones rather than all straight. But again, that's a preference. Switch to the other side. Let's try to keep things same. And then we need to finish up here. Like that. Can rotate over here, and I have to decide which way I want to have being the top. I think I'll move to this one first and do that one. So I'm just kind of randomly moving around my tile. I think I'm going to take that one out. That. I'm going to keep this one all solid so you can see how that looks. All the lines solid. Can get a little tight up in these areas. All right, let's see here. What do I want to do with this one? Um, let's try something different. We can go make this our top. I'm tempted to do this one or this one, but I'm going to go with this one. And that's part of the thing with the Pangea and Mirth is playing around with these shapes because no two are alike, so it's going to be different each time. Like that. And then off to the side. And because this shape is so different, we have to follow it down over into these little curved areas here. I'm going to keep this one all solid as well. So this one's really different. I'm going to come over to this side. So it's really interesting to see what you end up with because with the shapes being so different, you just never know. And yours is going to look totally different from mine. So we've got quite a few of them filled out now. Let's move on to maybe this one here. I've got a little space there so we can plan to have these come out. Like that. And then these come off the top of our C. All right, so then we can decide what we want to do with, this one's a very different type of shape. I'm gonna go in here. And your C, your initial C can be closer to your outline of the Pangea or more towards the center, but I rarely put it actually in the center. Like this is as close as I usually get to the center. It's usually going to be a little bit off. Um, oh, it's actually good that these are so different because then you get an idea of what the possibilities are. You could even do a couple of lines. So many possibilities. Put one more in there. So this has a softer look than even this one or this one because the line is broken up in in a couple of spots. All right, so I think you get the idea of how that's going. What would I like to do here? Maybe I do want to have this one come in. So these are all going to be pointing up. So don't be afraid to play with shapes. And this does look great with a black pen on a white tile too. So if you don't have a Renaissance tile and a brown pen, no worries, because it's going to look awesome either way. I haven't really tried other colors, and maybe that's something I should do. I do try to keep these matched, the ones that are above the C shape. All right, then we have one more. There's really no space up there, so I am just gonna go, I guess I'll go with this one here. So making that bump my top. That's always your starting point, deciding which bump is going to be your top. So very light pressure on the pen. All right, we've got those filled in. And I'm going to go in with the black, like I said. But you can go ahead and fill that in with brown if you'd like. So just filling in these little areas on either side of the C's, just to give it depth, like it really is a hole in there. But you can decide if you would maybe like to do the brown instead. So black is a little bit of a bold choice. I have all of them. And then the shading you can either do with a pencil or you can do with the Sanguine. And I am actually going to do pencil around these parts. And then I'll come in with the Sanguine around the edge of it. So I'm just combining really techniques, and you can decide if you'd want to do it this way or if you want to use only the number two pencil or only the pastel chalk. Um, so lots of options here. And I am going to now use my tortillon for the graphite. So around because I did black instead of brown, so I'm using a number two pencil here. Just seems a little more fitting. And then I could continue shading with the number two pencil, and I like to shade, I like to add some color though. So I am actually, yeah, it's a hard choice because often I'll just go in with the number two pencil, but I'm actually going to use the chalk and come in on the edge. But you could use the number two pencil easily. Um, so I'm just adding that along my edges here. I think it's just a matter of preference. So when I've experimented with this, I like all of the options, to be honest with you. So you can't go wrong with any of the choices. And now you can start to really see them as little continents. And you can see where they might have been like a supercontinent, like all together, and they've kind of split apart. Or you could just think of them as like pieces of a puzzle. That. And then I will take the tortillon for specifically for that chalk pencil. Um, because you don't want to get the colors mixed up and then you get gets all muddy. So smooth that out. Just working my way around to each of these. And really, Pangea and Mirth were, in my mind, made to go together. They just fit so perfectly together. They complement each other so well. Working my way around so you can see it when it smooths out. It's got this really nice mellow look to it. Nice and smooth. A lot of rotating because these shapes go in a lot of different directions. And I think, let me just double check. I think I got them all like that. And then one thing I want to add, I didn't mention, I have a gel pen with me. So I like to add a little bit of just a little bit of embellishment with the gel pens. So we have these areas that kind of come up and they could be holding like a little bit of a berry. I've got a blue metallic gel pen. So anywhere I feel like there's a little space, I could tuck a berry in here and there. And maybe this berry fell off like that. So yeah, here and there, just a lovely little embellishment. Don't need a lot of them. Um, just kind of rotate around and see where it would be fun to have one or two. And these are mostly on the outside edge. I think another one here. And that's probably about it for the little berries like that. All right, so I've got my Mirth, which I used as a fragment, but Mirth can also be its own tangle in the Pangea. And my favorite part of this whole thing is how we get those little outlines between the Pangea. So, fun little project. play around with it, try different colors, different combinations of shading. And I need to put my initials in. So let's see, I'm going to tuck them in right here, like that. And I'm going to flip that over. And our Inktober Tangles, day 19, put my name on there. 2025, Mirth. And you might be wondering where that comes from, Mirth. It's actually named after the one of the founders, Maria Thomas's daughter, Martha. If you take out the A's from Martha, you get Mirth. And this is an original Tangle fragment by Zentangle. And we also had Pangea, which is also by Zentangle. And they really do go well together. So I'll almost always put them together. All right. Have fun with this one. Let me know if you tried a Renaissance tile or use the white. It's really fun. Takes a little practice, but I love it so much. And I love you guys too. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.